What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the two new upcoming packages, part one, the physical infrastructure package, and part two, the next stimulus package, which is $3.5 trillion and will be the largest stimulus package ever yet to date. We also cover daily news, what's going on in Washington, D.C., and what is going on in our country. We got a lot to discuss. A lot is going on here today. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. And remember that new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to jump right in because, as I said, we have a lot to cover. Also, don't forget to hit the like button for us. It really helps out our channel. And hang on your hats because here we go. Okay, first up, if you missed our video yesterday, the governor of New York State, Andrew Cuomo, resigned yesterday after an inquiry from the New York Attorney General found that he harassed women. And he initially said he wasn't going to resign, and his own New York Democrats said they were basically going to impeach him, and he announced his resignation yesterday, although he said he will be officially resigning in 14 days. Again, Andrew Cuomo is the governor of the state of New York. The state of Florida is in a battle. As you can see here, Florida school boards are in a vote over mandating masks. Florida is the epicenter right now over the virus. They have the largest amount of positive cases right now, and they are defying their governor, Ron DeSantis, who have filed a executive order basically that says you cannot mandate masks. And we have some school boards that are mandating masks and basically going against his executive order. And, well, we're going to see what happens. President Biden is pushing to support the schools, saying that if the schools want to mandate masks and keep the children safe, they can, despite the governor's executive order. And we are going to see a big battle play out here, potentially with lawyers and possibly even the Supreme Court. Yesterday, the Senate approved a $1 to $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill in a historic vote. It passed the Senate in a 69 to 30 vote, with 19 Republicans and 50 Democrats all voting yes. And the bill will now go over to the House of Representatives, which will not vote on it just yet. The Senate is now going to be voting on the next stimulus package, which I will get to here in just a moment. But again, the physical infrastructure package, which is part one, this says $1 trillion. It's actually a total of around $1.2 trillion, was officially passed in the Senate yesterday with a 69 to 30 vote in the Senate. It is now passed in the Senate. By the way, the House of Representatives has announced that they will cut their recess short. Their recess is kind of a slang name for their work period, because technically all their representatives, same thing with the Senate's recess. Again, the recess is actually a slang name. It's kind of a derogatory name because technically their representatives actually go back to their states and work in their states, because first and foremost, House of Representatives or Senate representatives are supposed to represent their states. So they go back to their states and work in their states during these work periods. So, yeah, during these designated work periods, like, for example, the House right now, these representatives go back to their states and work in their states. So the House has already announced that they will come back to the U.S. Capitol to take up the Democratic Budget Reconciliation Plan, which is the next stimulus package, the big one that the Senate is working on right now, and the infrastructure package if they have to here in the next upcoming days. So the House is technically on recess or state work period right now. You never hear me talk about this very much or make a big drama about it because They always can come back from their recess or their state work period within a 24-hour notice. And this is why I never make a big deal about this on the show, because yesterday night, the House already announced that they will come back from their recess or their state work period to vote on both Part 1 and Part 2, the next stimulus package, to vote on this during their recess if and when need be, if they're still on recess when the time comes. So some people make a big, huge deal about this, and I never do because I know how this goes down. I've been doing this for a while. Basically, they have about a 24-hour notice. The Speaker of the House or the House Majority Leader, which is Steny Hoyer from the Democrats in the House, or the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, can literally call them back with a 24-hour notice if and when need be. So if they're on recess, which again is just a state work period, they go back to their states to work. You'll see some comments of people saying, oh, they go on recess every other month and they're on vacation. They're not just like flying off to the Bahamas and stuff. They're actually going back to their states to work. Because again, so for example, picture you were for example, a New York State senator. But if you were in the Capitol 365 days a year, how could you ever be working for your state if you never were in your state working? You kind of get what I'm saying? So, for example, if you were a Texas senator or a Texas representative, you have to kind of be in your state part of the year to actually represent your state and see what's going on in your state. You kind of get where I'm saying? So, they go back to their state frequently. I don't know, 6 different times a year for several weeks at a time because they have to actually work in their state, see their state people, work in their state, do whatever they need to do in their state, see their people, talk with their constituents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, do work in their state. Now, if they need to go back to the Capitol for a very big vote, for example, an infrastructure vote or a stimulus vote, they literally, the House Speaker or the Senate Majority Leader says, okay, guys, we have a very big vote. Everybody come back to the Capitol. We got 24 hours. Everybody jumps on a plane. We have airplanes. Everybody jumps on a plane, and within 24 hours, they go back to vote. Now, the House of Representatives actually they passed a vote that they can actually vote remotely. The Senate didn't want to do that. God knows why. I mean, now in the days of Zoom conference, we can literally just vote remotely, but the Senate didn't want to do that, so the Senate has to vote in person. The House doesn't actually need to do that. They can actually vote via Zoom conference or vote remotely, whatever type of secure voting system they have. So the House can actually vote remotely, but nonetheless, the House has already announced that they will go back in session in person or vote remotely for Part 1 and Part 2 when the time comes. Okay, so everybody always gets worked up about this, the people that don't understand this. So that's why I kind of want to let everybody know that when it comes time for the House to vote on Part 1 and Part 2, the House will be there to vote. So that kind of leads me to what's going on with the Senate. Also, that's kind of why whenever I see somebody making a big deal about them going on vacation, it's either they don't know what they're talking about or they're also kind of just making up drama for the sense of making up drama. So, again, that's why I want to show you articles like this that the House will cut their recess short to take up the reconciliation budget plan, which is the next stimulus plan package. They've already announced that they will literally come back to vote when and if the time comes. So, yesterday, the Senate passed the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Then they literally went to start the voting process on the $3.5 trillion budget resolution, which you guys know as the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. Literally has about 10 different names. It's also called the social infrastructure package. It's also called the American Families Plan. It's also called the Part 2. It's also called Part 2 of the Build Back Better plan, the Human Infrastructure Plan. So they actually started voting on, again, as you guys know, if you've been watching this channel, this vote kind of goes in several different votes. They have several different votes. It can go like the long path or the short path. But they did actually vote on the first opening vote, the kind of vote to begin debates. And I'll get a lot of questions on why do they have to do this, and I don't know why they have to do this. It's just kind of the way the law is written. And this vote did pass yesterday. As you can see here, fresh off a bipartisan infrastructure victory, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer moved swiftly on Tuesday to advance the Senate Democrats' $3.5 trillion budget resolution with the Senate voting 50 to 49 to begin debate. Again, this is what they have to do. You can't not do this. So they have passed the first part of the budget reconciliation process, which you guys know as the stimulus package. It's not completed, it's not finalized. It's kind of like stage one of several stages of passing the stimulus package. Now, there's no bill even written. And we're kind of like moving on to step number two. As you can see here, Senate opens debate on Democrats' $3.5 trillion resolution and begins the vote-a-rama. Again, there's no bill written. They don't even have a bill written. Remember that part one, the physical infrastructure package, was actually 2,702 pages. So sometime here over the next few days, they're going to have to start writing the bill. In fact, they're probably writing the bill in the background at this point, and it's probably going to be thousands and thousands of pages. Yeah. So think about this. The $1.2 trillion infrastructure package was 2,702 pages. So you can probably only guess how much the $3.5 trillion package is going to be. I don't know because they haven't wrote the bill. They haven't announced the bill. It could be 5,000 pages. It could be 7,000 pages. It could be 1,000 pages. I don't even know because I'm just completely guessing. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be over 5,000 pages. Yeah, it's going to be really, really huge. And there's going to be a lot of things in there. What's going to be in there, we don't know, but I definitely think that you should call, write, and email your senators and your representatives and push, push, push and tell them, make sure to include a forced stimulus check in there. Make sure to include the child tax credit checks in there. Make sure to include Social Security raises in there. Make sure to include adult tax credit checks in there. Make sure to include anything you want in there. Now is the time to do that because now is the time when they're basically considering everything to put in that bill. Literally make sure you do that because remember, they actually, in the second stimulus check package, they actually wrote the bill and didn't include a second stimulus check in there. Then they had to go back and rewrite the bill and they added in the second stimulus check in there 6 days before they passed the bill. So yeah, and they only did that because of the outcry from the people. They actually wanted to pass the second stimulus check package without a second stimulus check. That was the second one. And the outcry from the people made it happen. And then we actually got a second stimulus check and we got a third stimulus check. And the second stimulus check package was less than $1 trillion. Okay, this package is $3.5 trillion. So if they can include a second stimulus check in a package that's less than $1 trillion, they surely can include stimulus checks in a package that is $3.5 trillion. Yeah. Now, they have said that child tax credit checks will be included. But again, here's the thing is that everything is up for negotiation. They can take things out. They can add things in literally up until the last moment. They have also said that there will be an adult tax credit in there. Remember that tax credits are pretty much basically a check in some form. So we don't know how this check is going to work, if it's going to be a check on your tax return. We kind of know how the child tax credits work. We know that they're $250 to $300 per month. And then they end at this year. Remember those $250 to $300 monthly checks end this year. And people are kind of figuring out how they work right now. They go out to 65 million children. But how are the adult tax credits going to work? They have said that there's going to be an adult tax credit in this package. Does that mean a forced stimulus check? Does that mean that adults are going to get something on their tax return? Are they just going to get a stimulus check? I don't know, but we're going to find out here soon. So that's why I definitely want to make sure that people call, email, and tweet their representatives, Senator Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, and remind them of articles like this, that they are the ones that have publicly spoken out that over 80 different Democrat lawmakers are in support of fourth stimulus checks. They're the ones that have spoken out publicly saying they want stimulus checks to be included in this next stimulus package. In fact, there's the ones that actually wanted monthly recurring stimulus checks to be included in this infrastructure package. So again, this is their own words, the Democrats. Remember, the Democrats are passing this infrastructure package, well, part two of the infrastructure package, the social infrastructure package, completely by themselves. So now is the time to remind them that they're the ones that are passing this package and they're the ones that want to include a stimulus check. So make sure they don't forget about it. Here's something else that's interesting too, is that the Democrats have released kind of the framework of the $3.5 trillion budget resolution, which we went over, I don't know, about 4 or 5 videos ago. But it does not include an increase to the debt limit. Okay. And we've been talking about this on the show here for a few, I don't know, for like about 2 weeks. Okay. Since before August started. Their budget resolution framework does not include an increase to the debt limit. Now, they can do this in the budget resolution in the stimulus package. Now, they can add this in at the very last moment, just like they can add anything in at the very last moment, just like they can add stimulus checks in at the very last moment, just like they can add in literally anything at the very last moment. But as of right now, their framework does not include an increase to the debt limit at the very last moment. So that's kind of interesting. And I'll kind of show you some of the headlines here. 46 Republican senators warned they will not vote to raise the debt ceiling. Now, they have not even voted on this yet. The debt ceiling technically expired on July 31st and on August 1st. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen went into extraordinary measures to basically start using the United States reserve cash to start conserving cash and to start basically paying the United States government's debts. Okay. And within about 2 months or so, anywhere from like 2 to 3 months, the United States is going to run out of cash if they don't raise the debt ceiling. And as you can see in this headline, 46 Republican senators warned they will not raise the debt ceiling. And they will need 10 Republican senators to raise the debt ceiling. They will need 60 votes unless they put it in the budget reconciliation process, which is the next stimulus package. But as of right now, the Democrats have not included it in the next stimulus package. See the problem here? So the Democrats are going to have to do something. Mitch McConnell doubles down on the debt ceiling fight. Check out this quote he says. Mitch McConnell says, here's the comedy. They won't let Republicans have any say in this monstrosity, but they want our help raising their credit card limit to make it happen. Democrats want Republicans to help them raise the debt limit so they can keep spending historic sums of money with zero Republican input and zero Republican votes. Democrats are gambling on Republicans caving in on the debt ceiling fight. Janet Yellen warns the debt limit hike via regular order, and Democrats leave it out of the reconciliation process, setting up a fall showdown. Now, here's the thing is that the Democrats are going to have to either pass it in this next stimulus package or make a deal with the Republicans. They're going to have to give them something to make the Republicans concede and basically get enough votes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens because it looks like as of right now, the Republicans aren't just going to say yes. Republicans are basically going to say, give us something in return for us to say yes. And it looks like there's a ticking time clock here where the United States government is going to run out of money. They're basically using reserve money that is basically a ticking time clock of which the United States government will run out of money and default. Yeah. It's literally like one fiasco after another. And there's another ticking time clock where there's a government shutdown, which is a separate thing. You know, that yearly government shutdown where they have to pass a yearly budget once a year, which the Republicans and Democrats have to come to a yearly agreement as well. They're going to have to do that as well also. Yeah, here we are on the It's Jimmy show every day. Just averting one crisis after another. Yeah. I don't know. Somehow the Republicans and Democrats came to a deal on the infrastructure package. God bless them that they actually did that. But yeah, the Democrats are going to have to either give something to the Republicans to make a deal to raise the debt limits because Republicans are holding strong, or the Democrats are just going to have to include it in the reconciliation process. I don't understand why they're not doing it. There must be a reason there, or they should just include it in there. I'm not sure why they haven't done that. Maybe I'll figure that out here over the next coming days. Maybe there's a reason there. Maybe you know. Let me know in the comments if you have figured that puzzle out, but I haven't yet. Maybe I will. But I'll keep you up to date on everything, and maybe we'll avert this next crisis because it just seems like there's crisis after crisis after crisis. But nonetheless, we have passed part one in the Senate. Still has to go to the House. They're working on part two. They've passed the first portion of part two. They're working on the second portion of part two, and they're probably writing the bill in the background. Hope all that makes sense. Hope I clarify all this. I try to explain it so pretty much everybody can understand it. I understand that some of these things can get a little bit confusing, but I try my best. Let me know how I'm doing. So I will keep you up to date with everything. Remember, new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There is one thing that's for sure, is there's going to be a lot in this next stimulus package. My wife thinks that there might not be a stimulus check in this next package. There might be money in other terms. Like there might not be a check. There might be like tax credits and other money given out to people in other forms. Like they use other wording. How do I say it? Like they're going to give money to people in other ways, like child tax credits and adult tax credits and other forms of money, because my wife thinks that stimulus checks are becoming a little controversial. You know how unemployment is becoming controversial. You know, a lot of people think it's just a little bit too, you know what I'm saying, right? A lot of people think unemployment is too controversial now. Like all these Republican governors, right? They're just opting out of it because they say it's preventing people from going back to work. You get where I'm going, right? Of course, it depends on what side of the aisle you're on, right? Like if you're a Democrat, you think it's people's right. But if you're a Republican, it's like, oh no, people got to go back to work, right? It's just controversial, right? Same thing with stimulus checks. Like it depends on what side of the aisle. So I think that my wife thinks that, and I kind of agree. We'll see. Again, we'll see that the stimulus check may come out under a different name, where they might give money out to people under a different name in this next package, and that might be where we see tax credits in this next package. We'll see. We'll see. But we do know that there's going to be a child tax credit. We already know what that is, right? It's $250 to $300 per month per child, $3,000 to $3,600 per year. And there's also going to be an adult tax credit in this next package. There's going to be free college in this next package. There's going to be Medicare 2.0 in this next package. There's going to be a lot in this next package. But we're going to be seeing what they all add in here at the last minute. So, yeah. I'll keep you up to date with everything. Make sure to subscribe down below. Click the bell icon to all notifications to get reminders when we go live with new videos. Do not miss any new videos at this point. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is how there could be a $4,000 tax credit in the next package. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.